So I think I'm on my way out to Port Townsend. Since I already started making a bunch of Navy videos, I figured I'd keep going, and a real easy one that you do have to think about before joining any kind of military is relationships and dating and all that kind of jibba jabba. It's if you're already with somebody, it's you know, if you're well established, like you've been with them for a few years or however long, maybe you're already married, whatever, you know, it'll probably work out fine. You know, you already know each other, and you probably talked about it and had a little powwow, and one of you held the pillow and all that crap, all that lovey-dovey stuff. So that's fine. What's Town Point? Would that be nice to go to? If you're single, what I would recommend, if you are single and you like enlist but you haven't left yet, you know, you're kind of still going through the prepared to leave nonsense, that you'll know what I'm talking about. They make you go through all this nonsense. I would suggest staying single until you are stationed someplace, and then you have settled in that someplace. Because you could take my terrible example, and that is I enlisted in the Navy in May, and in I want to say the mid part of May, I got a new girlfriend with like less than a month or two before I had to go off to boot camp. So there was no real time for establishment. We didn't really know each other that much. And you know, it's like, hey, we've been together for a month and a half or so. I'm gonna leave for damn near a year now, because you know, you go to boot camp and that's 2 months, and then immediately after boot camp you don't get to go home. You go to your A school. So in my case, I ended up going from Chicago. I went from San Antonio to Chicago to Connecticut, and total it took over a year. I mean, while I was in Connecticut, I got to go home, but I wasn't home for at least a good year. And you know, we actually managed to stick through that. According to her, the Navy changed me for the worse, which a lot of people claim, but I don't think that's true. It was just the time being apart, and we didn't really know each other. So then when we started to actually really get to know each other, it turns out we didn't actually get along that well, and then we try to force it, and then you start fighting and all that nonsense. So you really want to take your time, especially since in my case, I'm in not only in the Navy, but I'm in submarines. So that means that I'm gonna leave every few months for a few months and not have like any contact at all with anybody for a few months at a time. So, you know, I'm gonna get to know you, and then I'm gonna leave 3 months, 3-4 months, and then I'm gonna come back for 3-4 months, and then repeat, ongoing forever. So, you know, without saying, well, that should go without saying that submarines have like one of the higher divorce rates in the military, I would say. Which, you know, even when you join, you're going to start getting a lot of warnings and stuff like that. You're going to be told, oh, I should have went to the right, that looks nicer. Whatever, we can go back. You're going to get a lot of warnings about people, you know, they go after you because you're in uniform, which is true, it happens. But if you're intelligent, you know where not to go to avoid that. You know, don't go to dives and stuff like that to pick up women, because that's all you're going to find there is either sluts or women that are just coming after your money, which I guess is still a slut. So you know where to not go. I can't really speak for the other branches. Obviously, I'm not in the other branches, but even if you follow that first advice, waiting until you settle, you know, where you're at and getting comfortable, and then you start to play the field, even then it's weird. It's more complicated than normal dating, and it's because you're in the military. You're going to get nonstop from the day you join training about sexual assault and getting consent before sex and drinking and all this stuff. You're going to have endless training on that. There's like a joke somewhere floating around that's what boot camp is sexual assault training. You know, don't touch anybody, Don't let friends touch anybody. Just keep your freaking hands to yourself. That's all it is. And you're never going to escape this training. It's going to be beaten into your skull. So much so that you're going to be scared sometimes if you actually heed the warnings. You're going to be scared to do anything. Because of that reason. You don't want to go out and meet a girl you think's nice and you know, maybe you move that fast and you have sex on the first date or something, and then it turns out she regrets it, and now, you know, you're going to captain's mast for sexual assault because she reported it. And whether or not you did it, if you're charged with sexual assault in any way, shape, or form, in the Navy at least, you will automatically get, you know, they'll begin to start the process to kick you out, or to separate you. I guess that's a nice way to say it. So, you know, you start getting a little cautious around anyone you talk to. And the other ways it's complicated is inter-military dating, because as soon as you join the military, there's instantly a bracket of people that you basically cannot talk to outside of work anymore. Well, you're not supposed to. I mean, we still do it. And that's like if you're enlisted like I am, you're not supposed to talk to officers. And if you're an officer, you're not supposed to talk to the enlisted outside of the workplace, because that's fraternization, and that gets into nepotism and junk like that. So instantaneously, I follow these ladies left. Instantaneously, you can no longer date, you know, a bracket of people. You can't date officers, and you don't want to risk it, because even if you get married or whatever, it's still fraternization, and whoever is the higher up is going to get in more trouble and all that nonsense. And then there's the fact that even if you find another officer or another enlisted, you're still you're still worried about like what their schedule is compared to yours, because I'm a guy, so there are no female enlisted on submarines. So I'm going to be, if I dated somebody in the military, they would be surface type, and so I'm going to go underway for a few months, and then she's going to go underway for, you know, half a freaking year, something like that, and you're not going to be able to talk through that whole time, and then it becomes a complicated thing where nobody's talking and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say it's impossible for that to work, but just imagine how hard that is. So when you actually join, you know, that's one of the things you have to think about. Can you be lonely? It's not necessarily that. I mean, you can have friends to hang out with, stuff like that. But an intimate relationship's not the same as shooting the shit with your friend and playing video games. Unless you're intimate like that. Don't ask, don't tell was lifted. I mean, New Navy, it's all, you know, you do whatever you want to do. But having friends and having a girlfriend's not the same thing. Unless, you know, your girlfriend is your friend, which is all the better. You know, that's the best way to go. It's just a little more complicated. Should I turn right? I've been following you this whole time. Now I'm gonna get lost. I'm just trying to get to the water line, to be honest. I stopped saying But yeah, so I just said it again. So like now, I'm kind of playing the field in this area. You know, to see what the people are like out here. I hear terrible things, so you know, we've got to play it carefully and take my time with it. And it's just, oh, look, a deer! Oh, look at the deer! No, there's more than one deer. Still, dating, just in the overall, is just, you know, complicated a bit more. And at the same time, if you are, whether man or woman, if you sleep around, you're gonna have the time of your life, I guess, because if you're surface and you go to different ports and stuff, or different countries, there are different people that like Americans more for whatever reason. And like I said, the dive bars and stuff like that, where people actually look for you. And I guess that's easier, but I'm not really into that. And even with taking your time, being cautious, all that stuff, there's also the fact that everybody knows when we get paid, which is, you know, it's a terrible way to think about it, but everybody knows when the military gets paid. 1st and 15th of every month, all the branches have the same thing. So it's seriously just, it's so beaten into me that I am almost suspicious of anybody that it's like, if I seem like I'm not interested in you, it's just because I have no idea why you would be interested in me. It's that kind of thing. I think I'm gonna turn around before I, get myself killed or something out here.